the Vince Everett Ellison Show. We're going to talk about how the Democrat Party's next move, if they ever get back in power, is to make pedophilia legal here in America. Yeah, we're going to talk about that today. So join me on the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, let's get this thing started. Yeah, last week the Democrats were mad. Friday was a bad day for them. They got some bad news. But it was good news for everybody else in America. A federal judge had overturned the Biden administration's executive order on Title IX. Now, backstory. Title IX is used to make sure that boys and girls have the same facilities at schools and universities. There was a time when boys got a lot more than girls. Boys basketball, boys football, all this kind of stuff. And girls were kind of left holding nothing. And it wasn't right. They said that the girls deserved the same thing that boys got. So they did Title IX to make sure that girls' facilities and what was spent on girls' sports and girls period was the same as with boys. But Biden and them, in their stupidity, they wanted Title IX to just not mean biological sex, but sexual identity. So if I say that I am a girl, that means that I am a girl, and I should be able to go into girls' bathrooms if I'm in high school. Okay? So this is what I'm going to read to you what the judge said about Title IX. A federal judge on Thursday struck down controversial Biden administration rules that protected transgender students from discrimination. Now hear that? See how they put it? It didn't say a rule that made biological girls have to go into locker rooms and shower with biological men, or made girls participate in boys' sports, or made biological girls going to allow biological boys to come into their bathroom. Didn't say it. It said discriminated against transgender students. See how the left is? Let me start over. A federal judge on Thursday struck down a controversial Biden administration rules that protected transgender students from discrimination and set rules for how schools handle complaints of sexual harassment, saying the administration had overstepped this authority. The regulation represents the Biden administration's interpretation of Title IX, the half-century-old law barring discrimination on the basis of sex in K-12 schools, colleges and universities that receive federal funding. Biden's changes took effect in August, but only in 24 states. The rest of the country, the new rules had been put on hold in response to court challenges. Now, among other changes, or the regulation defined discrimination based on sex included discrimination based on gender identity. So Biden said it's just not sex, it's gender identity. An attempt to offer coast-to-coast protections for transgender students, At a time when conservatives on school boards and in state legislatures and Congresses have advanced policies and laws limiting their rights. Limiting the rights of transgender students, but not worried about the rights of other children in the school. Not worried about your daughter's right to be able to shower without having a man in there flinging and flopping all over the place. Not worried about the rights of your daughter to be able to go to and use the bathroom without having a guy in there posted up watching her urinate. Yeah, no. They're not worried about your child being able to go out and run track without having some guy big as me running up beside her. No, they're worried about discriminating against the transgender child who's decided to do all this. Anyway, the court found that the statute says nothing about gender identity, and it didn't. and rejected the administration's interpretation of the Supreme Court precedent. Quote, the entire point of Title IX is to prevent discrimination based on sex, says Judge Danny C. Reeves of the Eastern District of Kentucky in the 15-page opinion. Quote, throwing gender identity into the mix eviscerates the statute and renders it largely meaningless. Hear, hear, Judge. Somebody got some sense. So Donald Trump had said he was going to pull that back anyway. But now the courts have said it, so Trump don't really have to do it. But what does this mean, y'all? It means these Democrats ain't going to stop trying? Shoot. These jokers just started. I mean, they're like the honey badger, man. They don't quit. They coming back in another form. So if you let these suckers back in, you know what they're going to do? They're going to pack the courts, they're going to change out these judges, and they're going to get the judges that they want who are going to support this foolishness. This is why you have to understand that you can't let these jokers back in. They're crazy. They really believe that you can pick your own sex. They believe men can get pregnant. Tampon Tim Waltz up in Minnesota, when they wanted to put tampons in the bathroom so if little girls forgot about their cycles, Tim said you got to put them in boys' bathrooms too because he believes boys can menstruate. I ain't lying. Y'all think I'm lying? These jokers crazy. They walk around talking to men in dresses if they're not men in dresses themselves. Bunch of weirdos, freaks, malcontents, they're crazy. So now this judge finally got some common sense and pushed back on them. He said, man, we ain't doing this. High school and grammar school, letting children just decide what their gender is. It also said it's pushing back on those pronouns, saying that the teachers don't have to call these children by these pronouns that they have decided on. See, common sense again. The judge says it takes away the teacher's freedom of speech and freedom of religion. Another common sense. It shows you how far the Democrats have gone, that the courts are saying, you guys are crazy. Me and Tucker Carlson was talking about this, and Tucker said that we're going to look back on this time, this crazy time that we're finally coming out of, and we're going to be ashamed of ourselves for even allowing this stuff to happen. Sex change operations on children, gender is fluid, pronouns, you can choose them all. It's just idiocy. And now it's like we're coming back to our sanity and we're looking back on that stuff and saying, man, this was pretty freaking crazy. And we shouldn't have been doing this to our children. We shouldn't be doing this to the country. But as sure as you let these Democrats back in, they're not going to just do this. They're going to do the next thing, the thing they've been waiting on for like about maybe 70, 80 years. They are going to make pedophilia legal. Oh, yeah, they're going for it. They're going for it. They're going for it. They're going for it. You need to wake up now. This isn't crazy. This isn't tripping. Ain't no way they're going to make pedophilia legal. They ain't going to do that. They ain't going to let these pedophiles. All right, we'll leave it here. You guys ever heard of NAMBLA? Yeah, the North American Men-Boy Love Association. NAMBLA. It's an acronym. The North American Men-Boy Love Association. NAMBLA. Look them up. They're a bunch of perverts that want to end the age of sexual consent. They say a child shall have sex with grown-ups whenever they want to. So all this stuff we got on the books about, men having sex with boys that are 9 years old and men having sex with girls that are like 12 years old. Throw that out. So these cats, a lot of them are rich. They'll take cruise ships to places like Thailand and places like that and just have sex with little boys because you can't do it here in America, not legally. But they're part of the Democrat Party. Democrats been trying to hide them for a long time. Every now and again, they'll raise their head and they'll say, we support Democrats and Barack Obama. But the Democrats say, shh, 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 be quiet, be quiet. I don't hear that. But look up NAMBLA, the North American Men Boy Love Association. They've been around a long time. Them suckers been planning and plotting to make to end the age of sexual consent so they can just have sex with children. I mean, they are some sick bastards. I mean, sick, 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 sick. And one of the things that they've done is that they have taken pedophilia and they placed it in the realm of sexual orientation. And a lot of the federal law says you cannot discriminate based on sexual orientation. And pedophilia is a sexual orientation. So what does it mean? It means that you can know a joker is a pedophile. And legally, you cannot fire him or not hire him because he's a pedophile. Now, he can go to jail if he rapes a child. But just because he's a pedophile, that's because he's got these sick ideas in his head, can't do nothing to it. Ain't that something? Dude can be a stone cold freak when it comes down to children, and he can tell you that, and legally, you can't say, I'm not going to hire you because you're a pedophile, or I'm going to fire you because you're a pedophile. He's protected. The Democrat Party made sure of that. Yeah, the Democrats made sure of that. So now they don't like the name pedophile. So they want to call themselves something else. Minor attracted persons, or MAPs.
I use the term minor attracted person or MAP for multiple reasons. First of all, because I think it's important to use terminology for groups that members of that group want others to use for them. No one can control who they're attracted to at all, primarily because it's less stigmatizing than other terms like
Ain't that something? They're minor attracted persons now. MAPs. They think that's better than pedophile. You're still a pervert, no matter how you throw it. And you're still going to get the hell beat out of you if you grab one of my children and grandchildren. So you can make it MAPs, you can make it pedophile, you can make anything you want to make it. It's going to be butt kicked if you grab one of my children. And the sad thing about it, y'all, is that when you look at the sex trafficking across the border, man, it's weird. Martha Blackburn, the senator from the state of Tennessee, went to the border and started seeing these children come across the border with these men. These illegals, right? Marsha asked a specific question. How do we know that that child belongs to that person? Border Patrol says, well, we don't. So Martha Blackburn goes and does what you're supposed to do. She said, well, I'm going to try to pass a law that says that when a grown-up comes over with a minor child, that they can take a DNA test, and within 90 minutes, we'll know if that child belongs to that person. You know, Democrats blocked it. Why would you do that? Now, why would you do that? Why would you block a law that would determine whether or not a man coming over with 2 or 3 children, whether or not those children are his? You know why. They want them to bring these children over without their parents. Consequently, there's just 300,000 children have disappeared across that border. 300,000! And the things that they do with these children are terrible. Terrible. Yeah, I got something that I want you to watch right now. And you'll see how terrible it is. Get your children out the room right now. This is not good. Don't want them to see this. It's not for the eyes of a child. So if there are children in the room, y'all get out. Parents, you watch this so you understand who these people are and what they do to children. Why many of them adopt children and how they mistreat them.
A Georgia couple is sentenced to 100 years behind bars after adopting 2 young boys to repeatedly rape. The dads even installed cameras throughout their family home to capture this ongoing sexual abuse. If that wasn't enough, though, they posted the images and videos online so other predators could view these horrifying crimes. I mean, we're talking about 2 young children who are the victims in this story, which unto itself is heartbreaking. But it's an added layer of depravity when we consider that the bad guys in this story are actually the boys' parents. A family's home is supposed to be safe. It's supposed to be a place where the kids can trust their parents and feel at home, but instead, first responders call this a house of horrors. That's a direct quote. The parents in this case are 34-year-old William and 36-year-old Zachary Zulock. They're a married couple out of Walton County, Georgia, which is just east of Atlanta. We're not revealing their sons' names to keep the boys' privacy, but we can tell you that right now they're ages 10 and 12, and they were adopted by the Zulocks through a Christian special needs agency.
Yeah, this is what they do. They hide it, they lie about it, but this is what they do. And believe me, if they ever get power, they're going to find them some old freaky judge like they did with Arborville versus Hodges that allowed gay marriage. Well, it wasn't gay marriage, it's same-sex marriage. Men marrying men and women marrying women. It's going to be some sicko judge that says there should be no age of sexual consent for a child. Let the children do what they want to do. So now we look at the fires that are burning in Los Angeles, the porn capital of the world. Makes a little bit more sense to you now, doesn't it? We don't wish those people any harm. We pray for the people of Los Angeles and in California for what they've lost. But these people right now are not victims, they're participants in their own destruction. God's not pleased with what's going on in California. They elected Governor like Gavin Newsom, who's nothing but, everything I've said about the Democratic Party, he's a pervert, liar, psychopath, and anti-Christian bigot. They have a filibuster-proof majority in their House and their Senate. The Republicans and conservatives have no power in California whatsoever. That's why the state is in such a bad condition. I mean, Elon Musk pulled out of California with the Texas, and guess who else is pulling out of California going to Texas? Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook. Everybody's pulling out. San Francisco's being destroyed. I mean, you can't walk down the street without feces and homeless people laying around. Yeah, man, you know what? You got better sense than that. You know you can't be allowing people to crap on the street and pee on the street. And they allow it. Needles all over the place, cracked valves all over the place. It's just terrible. But as I've told you before, a Democrat Party heaven is an American hell. And now, after everything that's going on in the world, how bad the world has gotten, they want to bring in pedophilia. Ah, man. $300,000 children have disappeared. Nobody knows what they have these children doing. But we do know that there are perverts out there who take advantage of children every single day. And again, it was Jesus, the Prince of Peace, that said, anybody harm one of these little ones, it's better that a millstone be tied around your neck and you be thrown into the sea. Well, I hope these Democrats can swim, because the millstone is coming. You're destroying these children. You're destroying this nation because of it. And when you look at the fact that Joe Biden and the Democratic Party actually put out an executive order trying to say that when they passed Title IX in the early 70s, that it meant gender identity. They knew better than that. They didn't care. that they actually told schools that if you do not implement this, you will get no more federal money. Gun to the head. Forget what the parents say. Forget what the school board said. Forget what God says. We say. And the sad thing is you people are still going to go vote for this evil institution. Man, y'all be ashamed of yourself. But if they raise their ugly heads again, if they ever get back in power, you better believe the baby raping is going to be something that they are going to make legal. That's who they are. The sickest institution and the evilest institution in the history of the world, as I tell you all the time, part of slavery from 1800 to 1860, part of the Confederacy from 1860 to 1865, part of Jim Crow from 1865 to 1965. Now they're the party of pedophilia, the party of transgenderism, the party of kicking God out the public square, taking your guns away, illegal immigration, fentanyl. And yet you still vote for them. If you do, you deserve what you get. Well, I can tell you here right now, these Democrat perverts ain't going to get mine. They can pass any law they want. They can do anything they want. Your children are yours. You don't let them take them. You don't let them harm them. But I can tell you this, brother, and you better take this to the bank with you. They're coming. And they're coming for your children. They've admitted as much. They've said that they were going to turn out your sons and they were going to sexualize and sexually groom your children. They've talked about, we've seen them with the drag queens coming in, shaking their behinds in your children's faces. We've seen them pull the Bible out the library, put pornography in. We've seen that they sexually groom children in schools where they will allow a boy to come in and change out of his pants and a shirt and put on a dress and high heels, and you have to call him by the name that he gives you at school, and that the teacher can't tell the parent nothing about it. Yeah, they're coming after your children. They're not hiding it any longer. They're getting them prepared to get down with them. Coming up talking to a child about sex. Let me tell you something. Nobody has the right to talk to my children about sex without my permission. Let me catch a grown man sitting there talking to one of my daughters about sex and see how I beat the living hell out of him. What the hell is wrong with you? You got no better sense than that? As I said before, if you said these things called self-evident truths. And one of these self-evident truths were, you don't talk to no person's child about sex without first going and talking to their dad and their mama first. Oh, not these people. They don't care. In our Bible, at the beginning in Genesis, God has created the earth. He's created the garden. He's put Adam and Eve in it. Everything is tranquil and kind. He told them to not eat from the tree of knowledge. They agreed not to. Here comes the serpent, whispering in their ear. You won't surely die. Your eyes will be open, and you'll be like God, knowing good from evil. And then they ate it. And their eyes were open. The Bible says that God was walking through the garden, looking for Adam. Wanted to go see his son. Couldn't find him. Said, Adam, where are you? Adam said, I'm hiding. He says, why are you hiding? Because I'm naked. And then God asked the question, who told you you were naked? Who told you you were naked? He knew he didn't figure it out for himself. He knew somebody had to tell him. Who has come into his garden and corrupted it? Every parent is asking that question today. Who told you that you were transgender? I didn't. Who told you that your gender was fluid? I didn't. Who told you about having sex with boys and girls? I didn't. You know who did it? Those perverts on the left. Went into your schools, got on the internet. I mean, I told about my daughters that on YouTube for Kids, it's supposed to be a safe place. These dirty jokers will put something like a Flintstones cartoon and say, ooh, the Flintstones, da 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 da. And you click on it and you watch the Flintstones for 5 minutes and then porn jumps on. Porn jumps on. And you ask the question, why would you do that to a child? Why would you do that to a child? Only one explanation: evil. And they're all over there on the left. And the left is with the Democratic Party. They're all evil. And I'm not talking about the rank and file people in the party. I'm talking about the party leadership. Doing that to children. Child can't even go online and watch a cartoon now unless you're slipping porn in there. Jokers pretending to be a child's friend and then come to find he's a 60-year-old man trying to pick up a child. Online. Grooming children. Yeah, that's who they are. And you need to be looking out for them, because if you think the Democrats are finished, you got another thing coming. They're just sitting back waiting their turn. They don't quit. It's just like weeds in a garden. Every year you got to tend to it, man, or it's going to just take your garden and kill it. That's who they are. So we have to teach our children to take them on. We got to take them on now, but then we got to teach our children to look out for them, because they are coming. And if they get this done, we're done as a nation. But I don't believe they're going to do it. Because there are people like me that are warning you, people like me telling you all about it, and there are judges out there with good sense. Like this judge will say, you people are crazy, we're not going to do this. And as long as there's a remnant of common sense in this country, we got a way of fighting back and we can do it. But you have to know the danger is out there, and you have to know that it's coming so that you can know how to defend yourself against it. Because if you are naive, and you don't know the dangers out there, you're going to be just like Adam and Eve in the garden. Subjected to it. And then God asking, who told you you were naked? With that, I want you people to support this show. I want you to subscribe. I want you to comment. I want you to like it. Because we're going all over the world, we're expanding, we're growing fast, and we're not going to quit. Because people, I am here to wake you up. Hope I did you some good today. So join me again next week for the Vince Everett Ellison Show. All right, friends, Vince Everett Ellison is here. I want you to go to my website, and on my website, you're going to see a lot of great stuff, man. You're going to see that we got t-shirts, we got caps. You got my books, my documentaries. You got all kinds of stuff on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Go there. We're dropping new t-shirts. We're dropping new merchandise. My new book, The End of Tolerance, is there. The End of Tolerance. Make sure you get it. Make it #1. If you got my first 3, get The End of Tolerance. It's just as good. And it's telling us we have to end our tolerance with these leftists, these Democrats. We no longer allow them to sexually groom our children. We can no longer allow them to castrate little boys and call them little girls, run God out of the public square, take away our guns, take away our sovereignty. No longer allow it. So go on VinceSpeaksTruth.com. That is VinceSpeaksTruth.com. Hit merchandise. You'll see the t-shirts. You'll see the caps. You'll see the books. You'll see the documentaries. You'll see it all. And let's keep this ball rolling. God bless you.